Hello students. Mm, In this video, we are breaking down one of the most famous letters in English literary history, Samuel Johnson's letter to Lord Chesterfield, written in February 1755. This isn't just a letter, it's a masterclass in dignified anger, a declaration of intellectual independence, and a turning point in the relationship between writers and patrons. So let's get into it. So what's going on here? Uh, some background. Let me give you some background. Samuel Johnson spent nearly 90 years compiling the Dictionary of the English Language, a monumental solo effort. This was the first English dictionary that was written. So when he started in 1746, he approached Lord Chesterfield, a wealthy and influential aristocrat, hoping for patronage. So there was a culture of patrons. Okay, so people with a lot of money, aristocratic or a royal class, who used to patron intellectuals or artists. So that is what is going on here. So Chesterfield gave him £10 and then nothing, silence for almost a decade. But here's the test. When the dictionary was nearly finished and generating buzz, Chesterfield suddenly published two essays praising it, positioning himself as Johnson's supporter. So Johnson saw this for what it was, opportunism, and he responded with his letter. So he expresses his anger in a superb way in this letter, without losing his dignity or lowering his dignity. So we'll read a few excerpts from the letter. So let me read you some highlights so you can hear the tone. I have been lately informed by the proprietor of the World. The World here is the two papers in which, okay, it's like a journal or like a newspaper. The two papers in which my dictionary is recommended to the public were written by your lordship. I hope it is not very cynical asperity not to confess obligations where no benefit has been received. Notice how controlled that is. He is not screaming, he is being polite, devastatingly polite. Then comes the famous line, "It is not a patron, my lord. He is not a patron, my lord, one who looks with unconcern on a man struggling for his life in the water, and when he has reached ground encumbers him with help." He's saying if a man is struggling in the water for his life, would not a patron actually come up to help? Is a simple question here. The metaphor is brutal. Chesterfield watched Johnson drown and only showed up once he saved himself, then tried to take credit. And the closing. I hope it is not very cynical asperity not to confess obligations where no benefit has been received, or to be unwilling that the public should consider me as owing that to a patron which Providence has enabled me to do for myself. So here, providence refers to the providence of God, and that is what he credits with. Samuel Johnson is clearly saying that I have done it by myself, by the grace of God, and I don't need anyone to actually take that credit. And when I was drowning, you did not help me out. Johnson is saying, I did this alone. You didn't get to claim me. So you see that this letter is often cited as marking the symbolic end of the patronage system in England. For centuries, writers depended on wealthy patrons for survival. Johnson rejected that model. He provided a writer could succeed through public sales and subscription, through the marketplace rather than the aristocratic favor. The letter is a model of restrained fury. Johnson never insults Chesterfield directly. He uses irony, understatement, and devastating politeness. Phrases like, I hope it is not very cynical asperity, sound deferential but are actually sharp accusations. This is how you tell someone off without losing your dignity. Johnson's refusal isn't pretty, it is principled. He is asserting that intellectual labor deserves respect, not charity. The letter redefines the writer's relationship to power, not as a beggar but as an equal. There's really vulnerability here too. Johnson mentions how he struggled to complete the dictionary amidst sickness and sorrow. His wife died during those years. He worked in poverty and obscurity. And Chesterfield's neglect wasn't just inconvenient, it was the wound. It was a deep wound that hurt him. So, the key literary techniques that are used here is, of course, the major one is irony. The entire letter drips with it. Which Johnson thanks Chesterfield for nothing while appearing to thank him for something. Antithesis, struggle versus encumbers with a help. John contrasts his suffering with Chesterfield's late unwanted assistance. And metaphor, the drowning man image is compact, vivid, and unforgettable. So, a formal diction. Johnson maintains it elevated language expected well when addressing a lord, which makes the underlying contempt even more striking. So he uses irony and politeness to do his work, to simply destroy this guy who was sneaky and in his ways. If we are writing about his this letter, consider these angles. How does Johnson use politeness as a weapon? What does the letter reveal about 18th century literary economics? How does Johnson balance personal grievance with broader principle? What makes this letter still resonate today? Okay, these are the things that you can think of, these questions. So Johnson's letter to Chesterfield is more than a rejection of one patron. It's a rejection of this dependency itself. It's a writer saying my work has value whether or not the powerful choose it to acknowledge it. That's a message that still hits. Okay, thank you. I hope you understood this letter and its ironic sort of value. Um, of how Samuel Johnson, okay, the writer of the first English dictionary, gets back at this guy who abandoned him in a very crucial time when he was struggling. And after his success, this guy shows up sneakily and tries to take credit. So he calls him out for that, and I hope you understand. So even in the way we are dealing with people, when people are sneaky, when people are try to act too clever, just if I'm sorry, like Chesterfield, Samuel Johnson teaches us how to respond to such people. That we do not lose our cool or try to become violent or anything like that, but we hold our dignity and give it back to them in a polite manner. I hope this video helps you to understand this letter and this lesson better. Thank you for the day.